Hey guys, how's it going? Otakumike here, back again with another video for you guys today. Before we get started, if you're new to the channel and you like the content that I create, please consider subscribing, don't forget to share the video. But without further ado, let's get into this video today. We are talking about Days of Love at Seagull Villa. Let's get in. So we are looking at Volume 1 of Days of Love at Seagull Villa, and it is written and drawn by Kodama Naoku. I hope I said that right. They are the person, I don't know if it's a he or a she, but they also wrote I Married My Best Friend to Shut My Parents Up. I actually read that volume, quite a while ago. I remember enjoying that, but we're talking about this manga right here, right now. So what is this manga actually all about? Well, this is about a young woman named Mayumi. And Mayumi, we see her at a nice beach on, looking over at a nice view of the sea. She's thinking about past events that happened to her, and she has decided to move to the countryside to start anew because she had some very traumatic things happen to her. Another young woman shows up who Mayumi accidentally thinks is a delinquent, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" She's like, what are you talking about? Are you trying to mug me?" She's like, "No, you're trying to kill yourself, aren't you? I know you're trying to kill yourself." And she's like, "I'm not trying to kill myself." She's like, "Yes, you are." And they fall over into the ocean. And she's like, "Hey, look, my bad. You weren't trying to kill yourself." This young woman who tried to stop this apparent non-suicide is named Rin. And Rin takes Mayumi back to her home. And she's like, "Hey, come here, have a meal, get dried up and stuff like that." Mayumi's like, "Well, I gotta go to this place, and this place is called Seagull Villa, and it's going to be my new place of living for right now because I'm trying to become a teacher at this junior high school." And she's like, What? This is Seagull Villa right here. I'm the new landlord." And she's like, "What? You're the new landlord? What?" She's like, "Yeah." And she runs the landlord with her child, etc., etc. Things happen, and things ensue. These two both have, how should I put it? Very traumatic events happen to them. So in a nutshell, that's kind of the synopsis of our story. Mayumi is trying to get away from past events. She had some really bad stuff happen to her. Her fiance/boyfriend cheated on her with her best friend, who is now pregnant. And she was like, "I can't deal with this right now. I have to get away." And she comes to find out Rin's tragic event is the fact that her whole family died, and she has to basically raise her young niece alone, and she really doesn't know what exactly she's doing, right? That's kind of whole the synopsis of the story. They have a really interesting dynamic. Mayumi is more of the soft-spoken, held back kind of attitude, and Rin is very brash and loud and very upfront with her emotions and stuff like that. It's very much an opposites attract kind of story, which I actually really did enjoy quite a bit. It's going to be really interesting to see where this story actually kind of goes and evolves as we start to learn more about Mayumi and Rin as a whole, because we only get snippets of themselves in this first volume. They are both obviously dealing with some very traumatic things that happened to them, and how they're going to overcome these obstacles and learn to grow as people, as well as obviously they're both have a connection and they're going to both end up together in a relationship, as one might say. Really felt like this first volume did what it was supposed to do. It made me care about Mayumi and Rin and the cute little child who's not her daughter but is her daughter. It was a very interesting dynamic because you don't with romance slash dramas, you don't really throw in a child. The only one I can think of where they did that was Sweetness and Lightning, and this is the only other one I can think of, which is a really interesting dynamic because in reality that does happen. You know, you do have people who start dating and one or another has a child, and that's a really interesting, I don't want to say kink in the relationship to start out with, but it does bring an interesting dynamic to the relationship and the story that we're going to see going forward. And that's one thing, that's one aspect that I really actually liked. It felt like a real story, and actually one that I personally have gone through because for a while I was a single parent and I had to go through dating as a single parent, which is very, very hard. Probably more harder than what these two had to go through in this first volume, but you know how that's how it is. We do get to see some school life with Mayumi and whatnot for her starting her new teaching position and having to deal with some of the students in her class who have problems. So we'll get to see that as well. And we'll get to deal with Rin and maybe any other potential people who come to the boarding house in this small village as well, or town as well. I did really like this book. There were a couple interesting things that happened where I wasn't expecting it to happen. I don't really want to spoil too much exactly, but it does set up a lot going forward within the story. I like the dynamic of Rin and Mayumi. They do complement each other very well, which I think that was the same dynamic in I Married My Best Friend, where one was more quiet and well reserved and one was more brash and outlandish. It'll be interesting to see where exactly this goes throughout the story, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I felt like each character was very well written and they were pretty believable in my from what I thought in my head while reading it. I highly recommend it if you're interested in a good first start to a Yuri romance. It's Yuri, right? The girl's love is Yuri, right? I think it is. I can't remember off the top of my head. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised that I actually enjoyed this. It was a random pickup, and I was like, oh, this sounds kind of interesting. And I'm glad I picked it up because I did actually enjoy it. Now, I do have to preference that this is rated teen, but there is some slight nudity in it. It's not vulgar, but there is some nudity in it. So if you're over the age of 18 or your parents are okay with that, go check this out. And there's some choice language at points, but it's nothing too offensive. Yeah, this is one hell of a start to a series that I wasn't expecting to enjoy. I went out of my comfort zone and decided to check it out, and I was pleasantly surprised. You know, if you're interested in this, if I can talk, let me know down in the comments. Or if you've read this and you have a completely different opinion than me, let me know. We can talk about it in the comment section. Thanks for watching, guys. I can't wait to continue this series. It was a really good first offering. But again, if you're new to the channel and you like the content that I create, please consider subscribing. Just click, and give me a like if you feel like it and you like this content I create. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you later.